Hey guys, so now that we're done creating our objects that we're going to cut, the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and code it. So to begin, we're actually going to need a couple of variables, so we're just going to do them first to get them out the way. So we're going to click on our variable tab, we're going to click on make a variable, and the first one we're doing is going to be for this sprite only, and we're going to call this my x velocity. We're going to click on OK. And we can go ahead and hide this one. Now we're going to make a second one for this sprite only, and this one is going to be my y velocity. Click on OK and hide it. The next one is going to be for this sprite only, and it's going to be my rotation. You're going to click on OK and hide it. And then the last one that we're going to go ahead and make, we're going to make it for this sprite only as well. And we're going to call this chopped. And I'm going to click on OK and hide it. So the rotation, x velocity and y velocity is just how fast the candy or whatever object you guys made is moving. The chopped is just to check to make sure when it has been cut or when it has not been cut. So to start off this code, we're going to go ahead and click on our yellow events tab. We're going to use our when green flag clicked, and then we're going to go into looks, and we're going to add a hide right underneath. Once we've done that, we're going to start with our control, and we're going to scroll down and use when I start as a clone, because we're actually going to be using clones of these objects in order to have a bunch of them show up at a time. So to begin, we're going to go into looks and add a hide. Then we're going to add a switch costume to. And this is where we're going to use a little bit of math. So we're going to go into operators and use the minus symbol. On the right-hand side, I'm going to change this to a 1. On the empty bubble, I'm going to go ahead and use a multiplication symbol. On the right-hand side, I'm going to do a 2. And then on the last empty bubble, we're going to add a pick random from 1 to 10. And we're going to make this 10 into a 2. Okay, so this is just to make sure that only the odd costumes, the 1 and the 3, for example, are the only ones that are showing up for us, and it's not showing the cut costumes, which are our even ones. So just to do the math, let's say that 1 is picked, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 minus 1 is our costume 1. If 2 is picked, 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1 is 3, and our costume 3 is picked. So this is just to make sure that only our odd numbers, which are our whole costumes, are the ones that are showing up on our screen. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is click on our blue motions tab, and we're going to add a set y to, and we're going to change this to negative 179. Then we're going to add a set x to, and we're going to go into operators, add a pick random, and then we're going to go ahead and do negative 200 to 200. Okay. Next, we're going to go into the blue motions tab and add a point in direction 90, just to make sure they're all facing the correct side before we start changing it. Next, we're going to go inside of the variables tab, and we're going to add 4 set blocks. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So starting with our very first one, we're going to change this to my x velocity. The second one is going to be my y velocity. And the third one is going to be my rotation. The last one we're going to leave as chopped. Inside of the my variables that we've created, so the my velocity for x and y and the my rotation, we're going to go into operators and add a pick random for each of them. Okay, and again, starting from the very top, we're going to do the first one, which is going to be -5 to 5. Then the next one is going to be 10 to 25. And the last one is going to be -5 to 5. After that, the chopped, we're going to type in false. So this is to check to see whether or not it has been cut or not. So be very careful how you type false and whether or not you put capital or lowercase for each one of the letters. This is going to be very specific. So if you accidentally misspell it or put it somewhere else correctly, the code might not work. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. After that, we're going to go ahead and go into looks and add a show. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and stop here for our first part of the code. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see the entire code that we've done so far. In the next half, we're going to finish up the code.